the screen. There we are. That's better. Wasn't even on the screen. Welcome to PRTv, Paxton Road TV, Talking Points, episode 103. And we're joining the house. He hasn't been here for a while, but he's back. He's back from travels abroad and joining me today. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. And let's see what's going on. He was in for. But this is Talking Points, and we're going to be discussing various things now regarding Tottenham. I've just got to put myself onto off camera just to check some things out. 1 second. That's not good either. So we've got to change that. Lots of things getting all pear-shaped here today. But that's how it goes when you're doing things live. That's better. And also, that's better. So we've got in the house. Sorry, just telling the people that everything was getting a little bit crazy today as to start the show. But PRTvSpurs is back. Talking Points is back, number 103. Darius 3K is back, and
Hello.
We are here to talk all things Spurs. And Darius, it's a new start. I put in the title that this possibly could be. Is this now a process that we can get behind? Transfer window's closed since you've gone. Obviously, we've had a new manager. Postecoglou's joined July 1st, and things are beginning to change. Talk to me.
I don't think I can be much happier with the start that we've made, to be fair. Even if we've not been perfect in terms of 4 wins out of 4, 3 wins out of 4 against the teams that we've played, you know, Brentford, Bournemouth, United. Those are 3 difficult games. And then obviously a win against Burnley just gone. I think it's been a pretty great start to, you know, to the season in terms of on the pitch, but not just on the pitch as well. Off the pitch, Postecoglou seems to have, you know, really stuck by his guns. He's got enough confidence within his own ability and within his own, you know, managerial talent to, you know, make decisions that some people may question and some people may think is a bit wild. But to him, you know, he's confident in them. And, you know, confidence in his own ability has put confidence into the team. And as you can see now, we're playing, you know, I would say probably the best football in the league, if not second to Brighton. I think we're playing better than Man City and Arsenal at the moment. But yeah, it's about consistency and how long this continues. So great start, but again, 4 games in, so can't get too excited.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the transfer window. Obviously, the biggest thing about this transfer window is getting rid of Harry Kane. Close to 100 million, whatever that was, the deal was done. I think from what Postecoglou had said, he kind of made his plans without having to, do you know what I mean, deal with Harry Kane. So I think initially he knew that he wasn't going to be there. We haven't got, as such, another Harry Kane to replace it. We've got Richarlison, who's there. Didn't get a specific striker in the window, although we did get Valise, a youngster. But we're still very, very attacking at the moment in time. What do you think of the transfer window? How do you think it's been? Van de Ven's coming in defence. Do you think we are? What would you give it out of 10? And then just go through what your thoughts are about the window.
Well, I'm going to come back over here so I can actually, you know, use my PC, even though it might not be working. I think it's been pretty good. I think it's been pending the Harry Kane move. If you had all of our signings, you know, lined up, including Brennan Johnson, without Harry Kane being sold to Bayern Munich, I think a lot of people would probably look at the window as, you know, close to a perfect. If you maybe had added one more centre back, it would have been a perfect window. Prefacing, you know, what happened with the sale of Harry Kane, I still think it was an okay window. I would personally rate it a 5 out of 10. I would say it's an okay window in my opinion. I just think we're very lucky with the managerial appointment over this summer window is why we're in such a decent and good position at the start of the season. So I think, yeah, bringing in Van de Ven, incredible player. I've said this before. I think it's kind of scary how somebody can come into a team and sort of form a partnership so easily and act like he's been at the club for 5+ years. So yeah, Van de Ven was incredible. Guillermo Vicario, incredible signing now it seems. Had one shaky game at the start of the season against Brentford. Didn't really do anything wrong really in that game, to be honest with you anyway. But yeah, he's proven himself to be a good signing. Then you go forward, you look at Deji, who again I would class as a new signing coming in from his loan spell at Udinese. He's been near perfect again, hasn't really stepped a foot wrong. been commanding going forward, been dominant in the back. I'm very, very impressed. And then again, you've got Johnson, Maddison, perfect signing for us. He's been probably the best signing for us out of all of them, and his impact is still, I think, to reach his peak. So, yeah, I mean, even looking at the players who have been given opportunities now in like Sarr and Basuma, Solomon's come in now as a new signing as well. He's been great. Brennan Johnson is going to become I think a pretty much bona fide starter for Spurs as the season goes on. Who that is in replacement of, I don't know. But yeah, looking at that window, I don't know about you, but I say 5, but the players have all performed really well and done a great job. I just say 5 because it only takes a couple injuries for this squad to potentially derail and our season to look a little bit more bleak than a lot of us think it might do.
Well, I'd probably give it a little bit more than a 5. Not going to give it loads more. Probably a 6 in my opinion. I think the centre back we are short, but going back to what Postecoglou's done, he's let Sanchez go. He's let Joe Rodon go. Who else has gone from the club in terms of defenders?
Tanganga
has gone as well.
Dyer, I pretty much say Dyer's gone as well.
Yeah, Reguilon's gone. Jed Spencer's gone on loan. This is Ashley Phillips is one of the ones that we brought in the summer transfer window. 18 years of age.
Yeah,
he seems confident in him. So again, I've always said we've got to be confident and give confidence to the manager if he IDs these players, because he's mentioned in his press conferences that he's the one that has that final say. Yeah, he's not going to say that it's a club signing, and he's not going to throw his toys out the pram like what Conte did and blatantly come out and just be dismissive of people. He's given everybody a chance. He said at the beginning he'd give Tanguy a chance, he'd give Reguilon a chance, he'd give GLC a chance. Those players have all had their chances. Mm-hmm. Tanguy, well, we know what Tanguy's like. Sanchez got a chance, Dyer got a chance. These players didn't prove that they could match up to his system. So now they're on the outside. So we have to be confident that with Van der Ven and Romero, definitely our first choice centre-backs, that Ashley Phillips is willing to step up and will be able to step up. And whoever else is going to play back up to that. Ben Davies is possibly another one because he's definitely a player that we need in the club. Although he's not at the level that we require, he's a good professional, as they say. Are you happy then that barring no major problems at the back to the goalkeeper to our centre-backs, that we have enough defensively to be able to cope this season? Or what if we were to have an injury? What would you do in terms of personnel, trying to mix it? Unless they had an injury to Romero, what would you do then? Because that's my...
I'd start praying. I think I'd start going back to church first and foremost. I don't know what we'd do. I would never ever, if that situation happened and Ashley Phillips had to start playing regular game time because Dyer isn't going to play and we don't really have any other centre-back apart from that. If he was to make mistakes, I would never, ever, not once, no matter how many mistakes the kid makes, get onto that guy, because he's 18 years old. He's never played in the Premier League before, coming into a big club where, there is expectation from Tottenham, even though, I think our expectation is a lot lower this season. Given the results from the first 4 games, I think there is expectation from Tottenham this season. So I wouldn't put any pressure on Ashley Phillips when he came in. It would be hard to put any blame on him if our defensive quality was to reduce as a result of him coming into the back 4. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to look at that. I think it's not an issue, it's a fear. And again, some people may see this as a positive. Postecoglou is not going to change how he plays. So if we get an injury to a big, important player, like a Romero, like a Basuma, like a Maddison, the players who come in are going to have to just sort of adapt to the role and try and, equal the amount of output that those players who potentially get injured will have, that we're putting out. And it's going to be hard to, see potentially players like Skip playing in that defensive midfield role play well in a Basuma role because he can't. So who do you blame for that? Do you try to adapt your tactics to match the squad members in the team if you're going to have a double of Højbjerg and Skip, or do you just continue playing the way you play and the players have to just adapt and start improving their performances? I don't know which one he would choose. Well, I know which one he would choose, and I don't know if that's going to work in the Premier League, because I think I'll be a bit worried seeing Skip, trying to do what Basuma does on the edge of the box, and for example, Dyer, if he ever played out the back, if he had to start playing from the centre back, if Phillips was to get injured, I couldn't imagine Dyer doing what Romero could do. So there's fears of how the system would work with other personnel in there, and I don't know if you feel the same way, but I definitely am worried if players get injured.
So we've seen in preseason. Preseason was a good, like a little bit of an eye opener just to see how, because he did make a lot of changes. He played different people in different years. We didn't have Van der Ven at that time anyway, so we were kind of putting together a defense. Now it all depends. If you've got a long-term injury, that's going to be a problem. Short-term injury is not so bad. Obviously, the who you're playing, where you're playing. If you're playing at home, it's not so. Again, we should be able to get through it. If you've got a long-term injury to say Romero, this is where, for me, Ashley Phillips, is he right-sided? I'm assuming he's a right-sided defender. I don't know. I don't know enough about him. Apologies, put in a group chat if you want people, if he's a right-sided defender. I'm assuming he's a right-sided defender. But if he can play both sides, great. If Romero gets injured, I'm not quite sure.
You just have to hope. Really, I'm kind of being serious when I say you have to hope and pray. You just have to kind of hope and pray that the players can maybe keep a good defensive shape. Because what else can you do? What else are you going to do?
I'm looking down the list now, because obviously we've got rid of Sanchez. We've got Harry Kane. We've got Eric Dyer basically frozen out. If he had to be brought back in, I think that'd be a problem. So we're going to have to go with youngsters and whoever's left in the squad. As I said, short term, I think we're okay. I think we could even, if we had to, really get away with possibly even looking at Højbjerg going into a centre-back role. Again, it doesn't sound great.
I think I would rather Alfie Dorrington. And
this is what I'm saying
about even go younger.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying about Postecoglou. I think he will play players in their position. I don't think he will go for that. But like I said, I've seen Højbjerg kind of play there in that free at the back and then drop in. But yeah, I'm like you. I've already said we need to do this. Van der Ven, as you just was talking about, seamlessly come into this league and is kind of taken to it like how you'd want a player to take to it. Sure,
at 22 quick, as well.
At 22, just playing the game as if he was playing it for 5 years, as you just talked about before. Midfield though, Basuma looks like a new player. I'm hoping that these players can be improved. So even if we do get an injury, after X amount of time, we should be improving these players to a degree where, yes, they might not be the same level, but we might be able to, as they say, get away with it for a time until the best 11, 13, 14 comes back. What's your thoughts on the midfield?
Before the signing of, I wouldn't even say that actually. Maybe the midfield is, in terms of our starting midfield and, thinking about the players who are going to come back, i.e. Brian Hill, Rodrigo Bentancur, and Lo Celso, if fingers crossed he decides to play like how he was playing for Villarreal and at the start of pre-season, I think we're actually okay for midfield. Not to say that I wouldn't want to improve if the opportunity arose or if there was, players to buy and players were, interested in moving. But I think for the season, if we were to make no more midfield acquisitions in January, or if we were to potentially we got rid of Ndombele now, so he's gone. If we were to get rid of Skip, people wouldn't like it. I wouldn't care. I don't think he's going to be able to play in the 6 role, and I don't think he's going to be able to play as an 8. 100% not going to be able to play as an 8. I don't care if he scored 2 goals against Barcelona. I think Skip would be able to garner maybe a decent fee from a mid-table Premier League club. So again, that's not to say I would sell him. I'm just saying if the opportunity arose. I think the midfield is actually fine. Looking at it now, when Bentancur is fit, it's going to really be who is in the best form, because I don't think he comes back into the midfield 3 like that after a long injury, especially an ACL injury. I really don't think he comes back and he starts performing as everybody expects him to. And even if, I don't think he should come back into the team straight away and start ahead of Starr, because Starr has proven now he is the starting centre mid in this 11. So yeah,
even with Bentancur coming back, because that's going to be interesting to me.
He should not. Bentancur should not come in straight away and start, in my opinion. As far as in horrible form, yeah. okay, if he's in horrible form and Bentancur's ready to go, then cool. But if Sar's not playing badly, he shouldn't come in. An ACL injury, I think, I know you know about ACL injuries. ACL injuries aren't something you just brush over. They could have lasting effects on the player, and I'm not gonna wish that on him. I think Bentancur is gonna come back and be fine. The way he plays, I think, will allow him to be okay. However, Sar he's been pretty incredible. I mean, the pass creativity that he's had, the pass to Maddison for Maddison's goal, the hard work that he puts in, the yards he puts in, the different kinds of passes that are in his arsenal, it just allows us to play a lot more fluently. And I think he's definitely got room to even improve obviously as a 20-year-old, but I think he's got room to improve as a player this season. I think he could get even better this season. So yeah, I think it's a hard debate. It's a hard debate, but midfield seems like it's pretty locked down to me now. And the debate and the question I ask you is, when Brian Hill comes back, a lot of people want to see him on the left wing. I think I would rather see him as an understudy to Maddison, playing maybe not as much of a free role, maybe more higher up in that 10 space. But I think Brian Hill would be a better 10 than he would be a left winger for us.
So you made Brian Hill quite an interesting kind of proposition to me. You've kind of talked to him. Obviously, he's injured at the moment. Has he had surgery? Might have had surgery.
He's good. I think he's close to coming back now.
But do you think he's more going to be in this system that Ange plays, a winger, or do you see him as one of them two that plays in like this kind of like 8, number 10 stroke role, the Maddison role, effectively?
So my thing is, I think and I do see him as a like I said, left wing is a good position for him to play. He's very good in the 1v1, and it will allow him to, beat a man, get to the byline, whip a low driven ball into the box. However, there's two things that, worry me slightly: his lack of pace and his lack of physicality. Pace is a very important thing, and you can see that in Brennan Johnson signing, that pace is a very important, attribute that Postecoglou looks for in his wingers. I think that the one-on-one, because he's so talented in the 1v1, Brian Hill, I think it will allow him to compensate for the lack of pace a little bit more. But I could see him sort of being ushered out of games, being, silenced by good right backs. And there are a lot of good fullbacks in the league as well. Especially in a three at the back, if you have a centre back and a fullback on you, I think it's going to be hard for Brian Hill to make an impact in a game. Whereas if he is able to play intricately as he does through the middle, but have a bit more freedom, if he picks up a ball deep and wants to go on a bit of a run, yes, his distribution isn't and range of passing isn't as good as Maddison's, but Sarr has a good range of passing, and I think it will be good to see them work together as a team. It may not work, and I may be wrong, but I can see Brian Hill, being that number 10, being in and around the box centrally, and if he wants to drift out to the left, Solomon's got more than enough license to come and take that role in the middle and do that. And if he wanted to play that role again, with Maddison drifting out to the left and him coming into the middle, it could work. So because there's so much fluidity with the system, we say number 10, we say left wing. You look at the players on the pitch and they play anywhere. They play where the space dictates them to go. They're playing to, attack and dominate the spaces. So, yeah, I think Brian Hill could play a good role in this squad. It's just, is he going to, hit the ground running? Is these injuries going to affect him? I don't know. But I don't know what your thoughts on Brian Hill are, whether you see him as a member of the squad or whether you see him as surplus to requirements.
I think he lacks pace. I don't think he's quick enough if he's going to play a wide role for us. Solomon's definitely quicker than him. He has got the ability to probably play a 10, but in this particular system, it's more, not so you have to be box to box, but you certainly have to be more agile, get around the pitch a lot more. We've seen that James Maddison can drop in almost to a 6. He's basically get a free roll. I'm not sure if you gave a free roll whether he had the same impact as someone like James Maddison. It's very difficult because James Maddison is top quality in what he does. But there is a place for him. I think he's got that hybrid. He can play off the right potentially. He can play off the left, not giving you quite, because Kulusevski hasn't got enough pace in my opinion. So again, you look at Kulusevski, he's balanced on the right. So the same thing could be said of Brian Hill on the left. He could potentially, again, play as an 8, but I wouldn't really be looking to play him there because I think you've got a lot more responsibility, a lot more work. He's definitely not going to play as a 6, so he's limited what he's going to do. If it's me and I'm looking at this squad now, I'm thinking to myself, Brennan Johnson is going to be the one. He's going to be the one that's going to push. Probably Kulusevski, if he's going to play from that right-hand side. And with the pace that he's got, he's not an Adama Traore. He's got a little bit more about him. If it was just an art, because we talked about Traore as well, not me, because I didn't want him in the first place, but people talked about him as getting this guy because he's so quick.
I was guilty.
If you look at him at Wolves now, he's awful. He's rubbish. Fulham. Sorry, Fulham, but he was at Wolves, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
But he's rubbish. He just runs.
I mean, Van de Ven locked him up, didn't he, when we played against him? Even though we didn't win the game, in the cup, Van de Ven had him. Well, I think he had him basically beat for pace. If not, he was the same speed as him. So yeah.
Booker T with olive oil on. That's who he is. That's who I see him as. I don't see him as nothing else. But let's forget about the other players. Let's get back to our team. So in terms of the system, I think that Brian Hill could probably be used as a utility player more so. But I think Ange likes his specialists. He likes players to be able to play. Saying that, look at Son's. Son, I think we've always talked about Son being a... Let's talk about that front three anyway, because in my head, the front three, a curveball was thrown in when we saw Solomon play. I think he should be starting from the left. I think now that we've seen Son play in that middle, I think he's ideal to play that because he looks like he wants to play that, and I think Postecoglou wants him to play that role. Currently, that right-hand side with Kulusevski, I think it's up for grabs, as I mentioned, because of the pace side of things. Kulusevski's scored, but I think there's more that could be got out of that. Who's your front three by design?
It's a difficult one because like I said, I am the biggest fan of Dejan Kulusevski from way back when he was at Parma. I was like, yeah, he's going to go to the top. He's a physical specimen. He just lacks the pace. And again, having conversations with people, will he be able to play a role through the middle? Will he be able to be an understudy to Maddison in that 10 role? Because he sees himself as a 10. I think we've had this conversation. Kulusevski. Kulusevski has always said that he sees himself as a number 10. He's mentioned that in his career before when he was younger. And when you look at it,
let me just add so you can, and then you can add on to this. The only thing I would say, I don't think it's necessarily a number 10 that Postecoglou plays.
It's not a 10, no. And yeah, you're right.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know if Kulusevski can do that whole midfield job, box to box, sometimes popping up, picking up the ball in the 6th position, making them runs into the box. I don't know if he's got all that about him in that. I don't know.
He doesn't have, I don't think, I wouldn't see Kulusevski picking a ball up on the edge of our box and spraying a diag over to Pedro Porro or, dribbling through a team like that. He's got good ball control, excellent ball control, to be fair with you. He's got a great strike on him. I think his right foot, people get onto him for cutting onto his left, but I do think he can use his right. He's pretty good with his right foot. He's not, he's not like Robin, where you barely ever saw him use his right foot. I have seen him put a ball in on his right. So I think it's a difficult one. You look at you look at the past teams that we had, and he fit systems better, and he wasn't even in systems as much. He wasn't even in teams as much. But I would like to keep Kulusevski because of the talent that he is. And even if he doesn't perfectly fit into a position that Ange wants him to play, he's got enough talent to have an impact in any of these positions. So if he was to play off the right, and maybe again, an impact sub, it's not the role that he might want, but I do think Brennan Johnson wants, and he won't, I would be very surprised if Brennan Johnson starts against Sheffield United. When Brennan Johnson, finds his form, and if he finds his form and gets into a good run of form and starts, pushing for a starting position, don't think Kulusevski should be too angry or too saddened, because I still think he'll get a lot of time and minutes. But my front three would probably be, if I'm thinking of the, this is hard. If I'm thinking of the perfect front three for an Ange Postecoglou team, it would have to be Solomon, Son, Brennan, Johnson, I'd have to say. And that's nothing on Kulusevski, but Brennan Johnson's, I didn't realize how quick Brennan Johnson is. Brennan Johnson clocked in at some of the high, I think if not the highest, some of the highest speeds last season in the Premier League. So, mixing that with Maddison finding passes and him intertwining with Son, and I think Brennan Johnson's going to explode. I think Solomon, Son, Johnson is the best front three for us to play. It may not be the first. It may not be immediately what we see, but I think by the end of the season, when we're looking at 30 games in, that's probably going to be your front three that you go to.
So this comment here from Dino. Thank you, Dino. I'll come back to some of the other comments in a minute. I think Kulu, Richie, and Gil will be impact subs coming on at the hour mark. Now, if you have them three as
It's expensive impact
alternatives,
subs, though.
That's not bad alternative. I know Richie hasn't hit the ground, as they say. Kulishevsky, we know what he can do. Gil, I think, given time and given confidence and given, a bit more, ability to play off that left, he probably could do more than what we've seen. So I wouldn't have a problem in any of these being impact subs. Solomon, I like what I see from him now. He's got 2 assists in that last game. I think he's learning quickly. The same with a couple of the other players. When I've seen them play, when I thought,
because he wasn't great in that first half, was he? He was making the wrong decisions.
No, he was making, as you said, we were both watching the game. He looked like he was trying to rush things. Like all players who get an opportunity, they might think, I need to make an impact now. I need to make an impact now. The goal went in, and I think the whole of the team just kind of said, okay, hold on. We just need to do what we need to do best. And get that ball, move it around, opportunities will come. And I think he took that on board more so than anybody because he got 2 assists in the game and probably had a couple of chances in there as well. So I thought he was very good. His pace was electrifying. Son,
they call him the Israeli Hazard. I don't want to give him that much credit yet, but I can see why they call him the Israeli Hazard. Because it's crazy. That's my favorite left winger.
I was calling him. Someone was calling him. I'm not going to take credit.
He's my second favorite left winger behind Son Hazard. So
I'm not going to take. Okay.
No, what were you going to say?
I'm not going to take credit for the name, but someone was calling him Hebrew Mora and all them sort of things like that. So it's kind of like, is he going to just be Lucas with hair? I don't know. You know what I mean? So I was like, come on, I'm going to wait, but I've seen enough. The same with Vicario. I was like, hold on a minute. Pre-season, I was kind of like, there's a few things in there, but give him his dues. He's improved every game since. We still got to see when he's really
incredible.
Flooded with crosses. I thought Burnley might have done that a little bit more. That save was very good. But then I thought about it. The way that Company plays isn't going to be very direct. He's going to try and play like how we play. So we haven't really got to a point where we're seeing teams, right, we're going to do a David Moyes, a West Ham type team, an Everton with, what's his name up there? The gravelly voiced one. I don't really like his name. I don't like him, but he sounds like that. I don't like him. Sean Dyche, that's the one. Sean Dyche. Them sort of managers, they're going to plot tactics to kind of nullify us in that sense. But what I do like about the Ange Postecoglou way is that we ain't changing for nobody. So we can go in every single week looking at games thinking, bar the injuries or barring suspensions, if we got our best 11, even if we haven't got our best 11, we're going to play exactly the same way. So that's good from our perspective. So, yeah, the players have improved, and I'm hoping that these players keep on improving throughout the season. That front three, I think, is great. I personally, on paper, if someone can perform like he's doing now, we can get Brennan Johnson in, and they can interact and they can interchange. Ooh, that's some pace there.
I agree. And you know what? I was also doing a little bit of research, looking at the ages of the squad as well. And I mean, again, goalkeeper 26, backup keeper 35, Romero 25, Van der Ven 22, Dyer 29, Phillips 18, Udoji 20, Davis 30, Porro 23, Emerson 24, Skip 22, Højbjerg 28, Bentancur 26, Basuma 27, Sarr 20, Perisic 34, Madison 26, Lo Celso 27, Son 31, Solomon 24, Hill 22, Kulusevski 23, Brennan 22, and Richarlison 26, and then Valise as well 19. I think the average age when I did a bit of research was 25.7, which is a very, very good average age to have. I think there's a good, distribution of young and, players in their prime and players who are huge classes experience as well. I think there's good squad building being formed here. And also the young players who are being signed, as in, Brennan Johnson. And again, Madison's not young anymore, I would call him. But Brennan Johnson, Pape Matar have been playing top flight football. Udoji as well, been playing top flight football despite them being so young. So this is what I like to see. We're looking at youngsters, but youngsters who, have a little bit about them already, who know how to play football, who might be a few years ahead of their, expected progression. So it's good to see. I'm very excited to see this. I think the attack is going to be very good. I think the system will allow most players who are pretty decent attackers to get a good amount of goals and assists. So yeah, let's see who flourishes. Who do you think will be our top goal scorer this season?
I think Son will be the top goal scorer, but not just
By
because he
far,
scored
or do you think it'll be close?
I think we'll share the goals around. I think Maddison will get a number of goals. I think the front three over time will get a number of goals. I can't see many getting into double figures.
I was going to ask you how many players. That was my second question. How many players do you think will get double figures? That was going to be my second question. So
I would have liked to,
because I'm looking now, and I don't know.
Okay, put it last season. We had Kane scored 30 league goals. I don't think there was anybody else that got double figures in the league, from what I remember. I'd have to look back.
No,
so
we scored 60 I don't think so.
Okay, I'm looking at Son to score anything between 15 and 20 goals. He's got 3 goals already. That's a good start. So I think he can get 15 to 20 goals this season. I would have said Kulusevski. I would have said Richarlison, 10 to 15 goals. I don't think he's going to get that. But between the front three and all the other combined front players, I'm hoping to see at least 20 goals aside from Son. So I'm saying Son getting 15 to 20. The others getting between 15 to 20. That's probably even quite short. But I think the midfielders, in terms of Maddison, I think he's going to get a number of goals. I really do.
Yeah.
And I think once we get somebody in like Bentancur, who I think will score more goals, because I think he's going to be more attacking than Papi Sarr. Papi Sarr's already scored a goal. I think the midfield will contribute as well. And I think also defensively from set pieces, Romero's already scored a couple already. I think we'll get goals from the wide areas in terms of the fullbacks, because they play inverted. So I can see Porro getting in and popping up and scoring 3, 4, maybe 5 goals this season. So yeah, I think they're going to be shared around, mate. I think they really are going to be shared around. I don't think we're going to get a real out and out, apart from maybe Son. Let me just respond to David. David, you were saying about Vicario. Obviously, yes, Buffon has made comments about that, but there's been players made comments about by lots of people. I heard Anthony was the next best thing. I heard that the owner, what's his name, was going to be the keeper. But I
think he's been really good. I think Onana's been really good.
You think Onana's been good?
I think he helps Man United in a to be fair, I should be calling a goalkeeper good based on his goalkeeping skills, but his distribution is crazy. Like, he can find passes anywhere.
Nah, I'm doing the old Roy Keane. Should he have stopped that? What's he in goal for? To make saves. That's great. Whatever else happens after that is a bonus. Yes, we want keepers to be a progressive, but as I kept saying, my only comeback to that is Jordan Pickford. Brilliant. Fantastic shot stopper. Would you have him in goal for you? Personally, no chance. England, they do what they want. He's not my player. So it's all about opinions, David. It's all about opinions. So whether Buffon or not thinks he's great, brilliant. I thought Conte was going to be great, and his CV said didn't work out. So it does depend.
I agree.
Over. Think about starting centre backs. If Ange decides to play the same way, it's going to go hide behind the sofa watch. Yeah, I do agree with that. Sonny, Johnson, Madders.
I think it'll be Sonny and Madders who will get double figures. I think Maddison will get 10 goals this season, including set pieces. And I think who will take penalties this season? Will it be
Son? I think
Son penalties.
Son. You know what? For me,
Maddison whipped that penalty in. He whipped that penalty in.
It's Maddison for me all day.
He couldn't even dive.
Another penalty, have we?
No, but penalty shootout, didn't we, against Fulham? He whipped that penalty in. The keeper didn't even dive. The ball's in the net. So I was gonna say, depending if Maddison takes penalties, and I think Maddison will score a couple free kicks as well this season. I think Son and Maddison will get 10 plus goals this season.
I'm hoping Maddison gets to 10.
Hopefully Brennan as well. It's a good shout.
Yeah, Brennan Johnson. But again,
you got 8 in a Forest team. 8 in a Forest team isn't bad, to be fair. So
I'm more prepared to give him time. The reason I say that is because we put all that 60 million hype onto Richarlison. Didn't come good. Or hasn't come good as yet. Young 22-year-old player coming into Spurs. Oh, maybe the expectations are that he's going to start. That's a lot of pressure for him. He's going to take time. I'm hoping he can seamlessly transition into it, but I'm willing to give him a bit more time. So if he gets 5 to 10 goals, I'm happy with that as the season progresses. We are going to need our senior players to step up and get some goals. What I also like about the squad at the moment is that the fringe players, the Højbjergs, we've also got Perisic. Not so much Hugo Lloris, but who else is is knocking about there. In terms of
You
experience,
put Son in there. I'd put Son in there now. He's captain now.
Yeah, Son, but he's definitely going to be a starter more often than not. I'm
Oh, you're talking
players
about people who aren't gonna. Oh, okay,
yeah. And what I was going to mention about that, and I think we've got some experience. We've got the likes of Højbjerg who can come on and settle things down. We've got the likes of Perisic who can come on.
Davis.
Davis again, good professionals. You could even possibly think about Lo Celso, although I'm not quite sure. But again, more experience than some of these other 20s and 21-year-olds that we've got in our team. Do you think the balance is right that we've got?
Almost. I think it's difficult because, and again, I think you can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, my earphone battery just died. Højbjerg is a good person to mention when you ask this question, because I was kind of like in the notion of get rid of Højbjerg, even if we're going to be down a centre mid. Like he'll garner a good fee. Let's just get rid of him. But then he came out and there's a quote about him saying something about there's been good discussion between both parties, i.e. I'm guessing Spurs and himself, and he understands that he's not in the starting 11, but he will still give his all for the club. He'll still try his hard when he's on the pitch. And a lot of people have questioned Højbjerg, when he's come off the bench and said that he's not trying his hardest. And I don't think that's his sort of character. And I think it's very important to have players like that around your squad, even if they aren't necessarily going to play. I don't think Højbjerg is going to kick up trees to try and get a move out. I think he will be patient. I think he will get his move in January if he's not starting, which he won't be starting. But it's good to have players like that in the squad around them. I would prefer for those players of experience to be, more impactful within the team, and actually, when they come on, actually have a bit of impact, as opposed to just making up numbers just for a, support sort of experience quota. But I think at the moment, I don't think many of our signings in the future are going to be 28, 29 sort of Euro players, unless they actually do have an impact on our system and our team. So, yeah, the only person I'm concerned about from that experienced group of people is probably Dyer. I wouldn't really want to see him have much impact on that squad anymore. He clearly is not in the plan. So, again, unfortunately, if he wants to try and dig his heels in, he's not going to be able to play. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see as this squad grows together, who is more of a leader and who does take that leadership role. We've got our 3 captains, so yeah, I think it's going to be pretty. I think it's pretty balanced to say. Question I'd ask you is maybe sort of, could you see us going, and looking for experienced players in like maybe January next summer to sort of fill that quota, or do you think Postecoglou is strictly just going to look for players who will impact and fit his system?
No, I think he's going to try and get a bit of balance. I don't think he's going to go for anything 30 plus, in my opinion, unless of course. And I don't even know what that would be or what that would look like.
Hopefully Sam comes back. Sam is gone. Sam has gone. I'm still here. If you can still hear me, guys, I'm on my phone, so I can't look at comments, or I can try to, but it might not be as good. But I will ask you guys a question, and then I'll sort of go onto YouTube on my laptop, so I can actually see you guys in the comments. So yeah, sort of the same question goes to you guys that I said to Sam. Could you see Postecoglou actually, potentially signing players for that experience sort of reason, or is it just going to be strictly, signing players for that system and signing players to improve our squad? Because at the end of the day, I think there's not much point in signing a player just for experience. I don't want to sign a 30-year-old, centre back who's never going to have any time on the pitch just for that experience sort of quota. I think it's Oh, you back, Sam?
Yeah, this is, like I said, it's a bit terrible, so I apologise if you can hear a fan. If my thing goes, it will be sorted out next time. Sky are just effing about with this instead.
I was waffling anyway because I'm on 5G, so don't worry. I was waffling. I was just asking the chat. I was asking everybody in the comments if they do see basically the same question I asked you, if they see Postecoglou signing an experienced person just for the sake of experience. And again, I didn't really hear your answer, so if you want to kind of say what you were saying, I guess we can discuss that.
No, I think he'd probably go somewhere in between. I think he would look to someone like the sort of like Madison sort of age, and this is why it's interesting whether someone like Ivan Toney could potentially come in January.
Yeah, how old
as a
is
striker?
Toney? Is he 26?
I think we definitely. I think he's 28.
He's 28.
He's 28.
He is 27.
He's
27.
Okay, so not too far off. So yeah, that's the sort of age I would think is about this sort of limit, the late 20s. I don't think you'd go for anybody 30 plus unless they're absolutely fantastic. And even then, you know, I think Postecoglou's got a way of playing that doesn't dictate that. Well, that dictates what he wants in terms of their abilities, their technique, all the rest of it. So again, it'd be interesting to see who he brings in January for a defensive perspective, because I think we are going to need to still bring in a defender in January. I don't care what anybody says. We can rely on Phillips. We can get 2 injuries. We can get suspension and injury.
I think a centre back is needed, right? I think you have to sign a centre back in January. I think it's a mistake not to sign a centre back this summer. So you sign a centre back in January, and if any injuries do happen in, you know, this next 4 months that we play football, you fast forward any potential deals that you were going to do in the summer. Because I still believe in the summer we have to go and get maybe 1 or 2 more centre backs, because Davis and Dyer are no longer going to be at the club. In my head, Davis and Dyer will no longer be at the club. So I think, again, January, guaranteed centre back in my opinion. Summer next year, 2024, we're going to be in. Yeah, I also believe that we're going to have to probably get in another centre back, maybe 2. So even if you bring that business forward and bring in 2 centre backs, it's being proactive in the market. I want to see a little bit more of this. January can be a difficult market to work in, but if you can get a deal for a player that you're looking at in the summer and you can bring him in halfway through the season, especially given the fact that we aren't really going to be challenging for much, I don't think. We're not in the Carabao Cup. We'll start the FA Cup after the January window ends, or sort of in January. I think just bring that business forward, see if you can get a good deal. You don't necessarily have to sign the player, but always go out and see if you can bring a bit of business forward.
Yeah. We are going to need to do business. You're definitely right in that. I don't think he's just going to sign players for signing players' sake. That I think he's got a clear identity of what he wants, and if that player's not available, would he just get somebody else up? I almost think we look like we've been giving away, not giving away. We've signed or sold 2 of our centre backs in terms of Tanganga and Sanchez, whether that's signed, sold or loaned. They're at the club. Dyer and Lloris are still at the club. Whether they're involved with the first team or not, I don't think so. But again, if they were to have the right attitudes, even if they weren't involved, they could still help some of the youngsters along, which I think is what we're going to probably look to. Bring in 1 or 2 of these youngsters, see how they go. I think there's been statements made that he will trust in these players if they're old enough, they're good enough, etc. If they're good enough, they're old enough, should I say, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we have to wait and see what January brings. So we have to wait and see how this next few games goes. Had we been in Europe, had we still been in the Carabao Cup, if we were playing a lot of competitions, I think we'd literally have to cross everything. But I think if you manage the players right with the substitutions made at right times, if you're winning games, you could probably cotton wool a lot of these players. So it might just be that we get away with it until January. What are you thinking at the start of the season? 4 games in. We are 3rd place, 10 points. With a few teams on 10 points.
We're
Liverpool
second
being one of them.
place.
Us being one of them. Liverpool. There you go, fam. We're second place. Only who have fought from. What's your thoughts on the start of the season before we have to round?
Yeah, I was going to say, we're probably going to have to round up before, because the route is just whoosh, beating you up today, Sam. I'm sorry to see this. Sorry, guys, again. You know, I'm back home. It may be my additional PC and phone on the family Wi-Fi that's affecting it, but I think this has been
of course,
a near
it's your
perfect
PC.
Start. It's my PC, probably my PC. 100%. Probably my PC. But no, just to answer your question, I think great start. I mean, a lot of people have mentioned, all of our, you know, Spurs community on YouTube and Spurs community on Twitter, and everybody, all of you guys, I'm pretty sure, are all in agreement that it's been a long time since we've all looked forward to, you know, a Saturday to come round and
and watch Tottenham play. We all love the club. We all will go to the games as much as we can. We'll all support the team as much as we can. But, you know, to feel that genuine excitement to actually go and that buzz and that, I actually want to watch my team play. And, you know, it was a rare feeling in the past 5 years, and, you know, since Poch, I don't think we've had that feeling consistently. So Postecoglou is on the right track. I'm not getting carried away. I think I did almost get a little bit carried away during that Burnley game. However, we've got tests coming up. Sheffield United, I expect us to do the same that we've done against other teams, and I expect us to beat Sheffield United. But the 24th of September is coming up, and that's going to be a real test to see if we actually are about what we are or we're not. So I'm extremely excited. I'm extremely proud of my club. I'm extremely proud of all the players. I'm extremely glad and proud to have a manager like Ange Postecoglou, and he's captivated us all so quickly. So, yeah, I just want to see it continue, but there's going to be tests coming up, and we don't have a big squad. So it can derail as quick as it, started flowering and blooming. We have to be smart with our expectations.
Cool. Apologies, people, for the stream. I think I know what the problem is, so we'll sort it out for next time. Make sure you smash a like. PRTvSpurs, Paxton Road TV, both running simultaneously in terms of channels, but we'll let you know when we're going to do the full changeover. But make sure you hit a like on any of the channels you're watching. If you're watching on PRTvSpurs, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. If you're on Paxton Road TV, make sure you hit that like button and also smash the subscribe button as well. Sean saying, Ange will be Ange. The subs at 60 to 75 minutes will continue. We never stop. Sorry, David. The effort required to play Ange ball burns you up. David saying, Madison has said he's going to speak to European clubs. Madison or Madison, wasn't it? And sign a pre-contract agreement. Who's this about? Don't know what this is about. Dyer said he's going to talk to European clubs in January.
Okay. Oh, you scared me, David.
Oh, I was thinking Madison. That's what I did there. Was concerned with fixtures that we would have a single figures after points. Let's see how we look post Arsenal, Liverpool, and 10 games in. Yeah, I'm. You know what? Win, lose, or draw those games. It's not even so much that. It's how we're going to play. Unless we significantly drop off in terms of our performance levels, in terms of how we play, I expect those two games to be very good games. I don't think Arsenal are at the level that they've been since last season. I think Arteta's trying to tweak and make some changes unnecessarily, in my opinion. Based on what he's got,
shades of his players now.
And in terms, yeah, but he's not as good as him, so I don't know why he's trying to think he is him. Well, good. If he wants to emulate, that's fine, brilliant. In terms of Liverpool, Liverpool looked good against who do they play recently?
They beat Newcastle and they beat Aston Villa, didn't they?
Aston Villa was the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aston Villa, they look convincing in Aston Villa because Aston Villa really played a high line. But as with the old adage, no pressure on the ball. You can't play so high if you're not going to put pressure on the ball. They didn't put pressure on. They let Trent drop into that back four. It became a back four. They split their centre backs. I see Matip go onto the right. It was very well done tactically. And it just gave Trent Alexander the freedom to spray them passes. And all they did, play the ball over the top. Their goals came a lot from that. I don't think we do that, and I think we have more energy to press. So if they tried that tactic, that will be combated. And if you keep him out of the game, I think Liverpool have to find different ways of playing, and I'm not quite sure. Again, with the Arsenal game, I was talking to someone at the gym yesterday about this. Keep Odegaard out of it, Keep Odegaard out, mark him up, don't let him play, don't let him have space and time. He dictates everything for him pretty much. Yeah. I know they've got other weapons there in terms of Martinelli, Saka, but if you watch how Arsenal play, everything goes through him. Odegaard, there's nobody else. Rice, yeah, he can be box to box. Yes, he can play a pass, but he's not the creator.
No.
Partey's not the creator.
Also,
Rice
locks it down.
Right back player as well. So Yeah, I agree. So I'm not bothered about them other teams, if I'm honest with you. I want to see us play and how we perform. Okay, again, I'm looking like we're struggling on the stream. We will definitely sort this out for next time. We'll definitely sort it out for next time. But Yeah, final thoughts then, Darius, on this, on how you're seeing. How do you think the season will pan out? And the last part of that question is, do you think we'll finish in the top 5?
I think. I don't want to get clipped up. Let me my head. Let me just rephrase my answer now. I think,
don't worry about that, man.
I think we will be fine. Regardless if we do well in terms of position in the table, I can see progress from 4 games in. And I'm very excited to see how much progress we can make 38 games in. So I'm very excited to see what Spurs have got. We're playing incredible football at the moment. We've got an unbelievable manager who I am so high on. Whatever he does, I'm just like, in Ange we trust. My guy could go and find Nicholas Bentner and Yaya Sanogo and sign those 2 as his new strikers. And I would say, in Ange I trust, because he's getting everything right at the moment. So, yeah, given the circumstances, given the situation we're in, given the players we have, we should get top 5. Yeah, confidently, I'm going to say we should get top 5. And I say this on every stream. I say this all the time. Barring injuries, again, thank you, Jews. Barring injuries as well, but I believe we can beat every single team in the league. But I also feel we can lose to every single team in the league. So, yeah, Tottenham, it's exciting, and that's the only thing that I wanted from my club, is to be excited. And that's a crazy, crazy comment, because we know where those 2 words come from. But I am genuinely excited. So, yeah, looking forward to the season. But also, I am remembering we are 4 games in.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think we'll be top 5. Good element.
Right. Yes, he came back. No, he didn't.
And we potentially have to hope that these 11 stays fit, because that's what I think is going to be a problem. You might be a little bit delayed on this one. So, again, sorry if it is. Apologies to the things. What else was I going to say? I think, as well as that, we will still need to make a couple of signings in January just to ensure that happens. But as I said, the way that we're playing the football, I'm confident that we'll get better. I am confident we'll get better in the season. We just have to be mindful that, our best 11, 12, 13, stroke 14 cannot win the league. You can't win the league, I don't think, with 14 players. You need a bigger squad.
Agree.
But let's see how we go. Agree. So, the Deji is the GOAT. Them man, we'll have to do another talk about a Deji, because these mans are telling me that he's top 3 already. And Sid will say he's the best left back in world football already. Sean's talking about, and he's very good. Just because he's 20, I'm just going to give him a little bit more time, man. He's brilliant, and I don't want to see anybody else play left back. Certainly don't think Sessegnon is going to come in and push this guy out, in my opinion. Perisic as well. I'd be happy for Perisic to play second fiddle, but Perisic is playing more further up front. So. Again, Ben Davies, nowhere near the level in terms of what he can do. So, yeah, we're going to have to hope and pray that he stays fit, because that's, again, another position that I don't want to see too many other people there. Porro, I think, is playing well. There's so many players we could talk about, but because the stream is not doing too well, I think we're going to have to end this one and probably have to do another one at some point. So, Darius says, did you say top 5 or did you not?
Yeah. I'm confident now.
So, you're saying top 5. I'm saying top 5. Thank you all. Make sure you do, if you're watching on Paxton Road TV or PRTvSpurs, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. We're over 1,800 on Paxton Road TV, but we're just starting on PRTvSpurs, but we hope to get that up as well. And then we will be just comfortable. So, yeah, do all the things that's necessary, people. Look out for preview show coming out, obviously, for the game against Sheffield United, reaction show. There'll be other shows on there. Darius might be coming back to do things. Sid might be doing there. Sean out there. Judge Jodi as well. Don't forget Judge Jodi, who's been getting some brilliant numbers on her show, Judge Jodi, doing Crime of the Week and all that other stuff. So, yeah, all good, Paxton Road TV. Anything else to say before we go?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, you Spurs.
If I see Richarlison start on the weekend against Sheffield United, I'm going to cry real tears. I will cry on stream. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I don't think
That's one
Andy's
thing I
gonna do
don't
too
want to
much.
see anymore. I'm done with Richarlison now. I can't even be asked to even give him a chance anymore.
You know what? As much as I know that I gave him 5 games and he's gone before 5 because Son's now in his place, I'm still going to have to say we're going to have to back this guy, because if something happens to one, he's our only other real striker in terms of a number 9.
I'd play
And
Jamie
he's not even the
Dundee.
best number 9.
I'd play
Oh,
Jamie
wow.
Dundee.
See, that's how deep it's gone.
I would.
Richie, you need to be doing that again. You need to be doing that again, fam. You do need to be doing that bird dance.
He's good.
That
He's
was cold when
he's
he
good
did.
for marketing, though. He is good for marketing. I will say that. He's a
And
funny
he's
guy.
doing all of that. I was thinking, yeah, man, that's cold. That's a cold celebration, but I ain't seen that for a little while still. So, yeah, you need
He's
to bring
gonna
that
back
back,
off his
man. You
shirt
need to
when he
bring that
scores.
back.
I guarantee you that he will definitely back off his shirt.
Anyway, that's it. Now we're done. Nearly an hour. Thank you, Darius. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you do as we've just said. If you haven't done it already, hit the like button. Doesn't take long. Just one press, one click. That's it. Come on, you Spurs. That's it. I think we're gonna go. I keep saying we're gonna go. I was stalling because I couldn't find the music and the outro to that. That's why I was stalling, but I actually found it now, so I know that we can go. And that, my folk and friends, is that. Come on, you Spurs.